There is a player on the pitch right now. He has run 11 kilometers. He has made 14 interceptions. He has won 9 duels. He has covered every space, protected every player, stopped every counterattack before it even started. His team just won 3-0, and when the final whistle blows, nobody will say his name. Not the commentator, not the fans, not even his own teammates. He will walk off that pitch completely invisible. And tomorrow morning he will come back and do it all again. This is the story of the most important player on the pitch that nobody ever talks about, the defensive midfielder. And trust me, you already know someone like him. Maybe you are him. 3 things before we go further. 1, the role nobody wanted. 2, the players who defined it and were forgotten anyway. 3, the uncomfortable truth about invisible work. Stay with me, because this story goes far beyond football. Now, close your eyes for a second. You are 14 years old. Saturday morning, your team is getting ready in the changing room. The coach looks at his players before kickoff and says, "I need someone to protect the defense. Someone who runs everywhere, wins the ball back, and lets the others attack." Silence in the changing room. Nobody moves. Nobody wants this. Finally, one player raises his hand. Not because he wants this position, because someone has to do it. That player, that kid who raised his hand when nobody else would, is the defensive midfielder. And his life in football is going to look exactly like that moment. Forever. Now. Here is what he actually does for 90 minutes. He runs 12 to 13 kilometers per match, not in a straight line like a winger sprinting toward goal. In zigzags, constantly. He pushes up, he drops back, he covers left, he covers right, he fills the spaces left by everyone else. While the star attacker walks during defensive phases, the defensive midfielder never stops. He reads the game before the game happens. He sees the pass before it is played. He positions himself before the opponent even receives the ball. He anticipates, he intercepts, he puts out fires before they start. And when he succeeds, the crowd sees nothing, because the danger was stopped before it existed. He protects the ones who shine. The center back sleeps better at night because of him. The star attacker can push high because of him. The goalkeeper has less work because of him. Everyone benefits from what he does. Nobody thanks him. He distributes, simply. He does not keep the ball. He does not dribble. He receives and passes. Fast. Clean. In the right place. And the people in the stands think it is easy, that anyone can do this. They're wrong. Because receiving a ball under pressure, instantly finding the right player, launching them into the right space at the right moment for 90 minutes, without ever making a mistake, is one of the hardest things that exists in football. He takes the hits. When the opponent counterattacks, he makes the difficult tackle. He puts his body on the line. He takes the yellow card to protect the team. Not to be the hero, so that the team stays alive. He plays injured, because without him the team's balance collapses. And he knows it. So he continues, with the ankle that hurts, with the knees that burn, with the thigh that has been pulling since the 20th minute. He continues because it is his role. And his role is to be there, always. And now, here is the cruel rule that nobody tells you when you choose this position. The better you are, the less people see you. When the goalkeeper makes an extraordinary save, the whole stadium rises. When the attacker scores, the whole stadium explodes. When the defensive midfielder does his job perfectly, the match passes normally. And a match that passes normally does not exist for the spectators. After the match, the team won 2-0. The attacker scored twice. The fans are waiting for him outside. They want his photo, his shirt, his autograph. The defensive midfielder walks past behind him. Nobody recognizes him. He goes to the changing room. The coach does the team talk. He says the attacker was brilliant. He says the goalkeeper was solid. He says the wide players created danger all game. And then he moves on. The defensive midfielder sits in the corner, nods. He knows. He goes home. He showers. He eats. He sleeps. And on Saturday, he does it all again. Now let me tell you about the men who did this at the highest level and what it cost them. We start with the man whose name became a tactical term, Claude Makélélé, formed at Brest, revealed at FC Nantes, Celta Vigo, Real Madrid, Chelsea, finalist at the 2006 World Cup with France, over 900 professional matches. At Real Madrid, Makelele was the foundation of everything. He protected the defense. He closed spaces. He anticipated every opposition move. He won the ball back and immediately launched the attack. Simple, invisible, essential. In 2003, Real Madrid sold him to Chelsea and decided not to replace him. They bought David Beckham instead. Zinedine Zidane, the best player in the world at that time, said publicly, "Why put another layer of gold on a Bentley when you have lost the engine?" The engine. Real Madrid collapsed, and for the first time, everyone finally understood what Makelele had been doing. But Makelele was already gone. Jose Mourinho, who worked with him at Chelsea, described him like this: Claude Makélélé is the one who carries the piano so that the others can play it. Carries the piano. Think about that image. Every concert you have ever enjoyed, every performance you have ever applauded. Someone carried the piano first. Nobody clapped for them. FIFA had to invent a term to describe what Makelele did. The Makelele role? Not the Pelé role? Not the Maradona role? Not the Ronaldo role? The Makelele role. A name given to a way of playing. A way of sacrificing yourself so that others can be great. And yet, ask a child today who Makelele was. Silence. Now, the story that happened in front of everyone, and that nobody truly understood. 2016. Leicester City. 5,000-1. The greatest upset in the history of professional sport. And at the heart of that miracle, a player revealed at SM Kong. A club nobody outside of France had ever heard of, N'Golo Kante. While the world talked about Jamie Vardy scoring goals, while the world talked about Riyad Mahrez creating magic, Kante was running. And running. And running. Antonio Conte said it simply. Kante is worth 2 players. Eden Hazard said something even more remarkable. When you play with Kante, you feel like you are 12 on the pitch. 12. Not 11. 12. One man making an entire team feel like they had an extra player. The year after Leicester, he won the Premier League again, with Chelsea. 2018, World Cup Final. France versus Croatia. France won. Mbappé scored twice. The headlines the next morning were all about Mbappé. 19 years old, world champion, the future of football. Kante was everywhere on that pitch. He intercepted, he recovered, he protected, he covered, he made it possible. And then the celebration photos came out, and somewhere in the back, smiling quietly, was Kante. Not in the center, not in front, in the back, smiling. Because that is who he is. The player voted best in the Premier League by his fellow professionals in 2017 didn't need the spotlight. He never did. Didier Deschamps described him with 3 words: intelligence, generosity, balance. Not pace, not power, not goals. Intelligence, generosity, balance. 3 words that will never appear on a highlight reel. 3 words that win World Cups. Now, Patrick Vieira, Arsenal, Juventus, Inter Milan, World Cup winner 1998, European champion 2000, multiple Premier League titles, and the Invincibles, 2003 to 2004. Arsenal went an entire Premier League season unbeaten, It has never been done before. It has never been done since. And at the heart of that team, Patrick Vieira. Arsène Wenger called him the engine of his team. Not the star, the engine. Roy Keane, his greatest rival, admitted that Vieira was one of the toughest opponents he ever faced. When Vieira left Arsenal, the Invincibles era ended. The engine was gone, and the car stopped moving. But when people talk about the Invincibles today, they talk about Thierry Henry. Vieira nods. He knows. Now, Sergio Busquets, formed at FC Barcelona. Over 700 matches with Barca. World Cup winner 2010. European champion 2012. 3 Champions Leagues, over 30 trophies. The most mocked player of his generation. He is slow. He never scores. He does not dribble. He does nothing spectacular. Pep Guardiola, the greatest manager of the modern era, said publicly that Busquets was the best player he ever coached. Not Messi, not Ronaldinho, not Thierry Henry, not Kevin De Bruyne. Busquets, Xavi, his teammate for years, said something that explains everything. If you watch the match, you do not see Busquets. If you watch Busquets, you see the whole match. Read that again. If you watch the match, you do not see Busquets, the best player his manager ever coached, invisible during every match he played. That is the condition of the defensive midfielder. Now, a name you might not know. And that is exactly the point. Lothar Matthäus. Ballon d'Or 1990. World Cup winner 1990. Over 150 caps for Germany. Legend of Bayern Munich. The most complete midfielder in the history of football. He could defend, recover, organize, dribble, shoot from distance, score. Diego Maradona, the greatest player who ever lived, said that Matthaus was the most difficult opponent he ever faced. Not Barisi, not Platini, not Gullit. Matthaus. He won the Ballon d'Or, the only defensive midfielder on this list to do so. Ask any teenager today who Lothar Matthäus was. Silence. He was the best. And the world forgot him anyway. And before all of them. There was the one who started it all, Frank Rijkaard, Ajax Amsterdam, AC Milan. European champion with the Netherlands in 1988. 2 European Cups with AC Milan. Arrigo Sacchi, one of the greatest managers in the history of football, described him as one of the most intelligent players he ever coached. Not the most powerful, not the fastest, the most intelligent. Rijkaard was the first defensive midfielder to combine defensive power, technical elegance, and tactical intelligence. Before him, defensive midfielders were just ball winners, destroyers, men who won the ball and gave it to someone more important. Rijkaard showed that a number 6 could be elegant, could be beautiful, could control a match without anyone realizing he was doing it. He retired, and the world moved on. Most football fans today have never heard his name. 6 players, 6 careers defined by sacrifice, 6 men who gave everything to a position that gives nothing back. Makelele, Kante, Vieira, Busquets, Matthaus, Rijkaard. Different eras, different styles, different clubs, different countries. One thing in common. The most important player on the pitch that nobody ever talks about. Now let us talk about money. Because in football, everything comes back to money. An average attacker in the Premier League earns 3 to 5 times the salary of an excellent defensive midfielder. Because attackers score goals. And goals are visible. And what is visible is worth more money. Even if without the defensive midfielder, those goals would never exist. The market rewards what people see. And people do not see what the defensive midfielder does. So he earns less for doing more. And then comes the day he takes his retirement. When Maradona died, the world stopped. When Pelé died, the world stopped. When Makelele retired, one article in L'Équipe, a few tweets, and then nothing. When Busquets retired from Barcelona after 23 years, there was a ceremony, a tribute, a standing ovation, and the next morning, Football moved on. That is the condition of the defensive midfielder. Indispensable during his career. Forgotten after. So here is what I want you to remember. Every team has one. The person who arrives first and leaves last. The person who does the work nobody sees, so that others can do the work everyone sees. The person who runs 11 kilometers and gets 0 applause. In football, we call him the defensive midfielder. In your life, you might call him your colleague, your parent, your friend, the one who holds everything together while everyone else gets the credit. Or maybe that person is you. Maybe you are the one running 11 kilometers every single day, intercepting every problem before it becomes a crisis, protecting everyone around you while they shine under the spotlight. And nobody says your name. Here is the truth that Makelele knew, that Busquets knows, that Kante knows. The most important work is always the work nobody sees. And the day you stop doing it, that is the day everyone finally understands what you were worth. Do it anyway, not for the applause, because without you, nothing works. And deep down, you already know that. If this video spoke to you, subscribe. Every week we tell the stories behind football that nobody else talks about. There is always more to this story. There is.